Well, hey, here's some bonus material too. After I finished recording the meetup, I realized I never did follow through on my promise, my wanting to share something really vulnerable from this week, some processing I did, memories that came up. I think that they really exemplify the kind of breakthroughs that are possible when you really are willing to face the healing you need and stay on the path of what you like, what's right for you. So, as I said, I mean, I'm very humble in terms of I want to learn myself. I'm not just a spiritual teacher repeating things that I memorized. Yeah, I'm in the trenches. I'm learning stuff. Well, trenches to say it's like a warfare. It's not a warfare. I'm in the caverns. Okay, I'm exploring along with all of us together. So this week's theme of like really mastering belief systems to have the positive emotions and the positive experiences. And personally, I'm at a point in my life where, I need to go big. I need to I'm ready to share my material in a really successful way with a larger audience. I've been kind of playing small, practicing, building my courage for so many years, more than was necessary. And at the same time, you want to respect your life path. You can, many times in your life, you can realize oh, if only I had more courage and I had done this when I was younger. But you didn't. So, and there's a reason for it. Trust, believe, embrace yourself as your own best friend. There's a reason why you did what you did. Even if you realize, well, it could have gone better, if I could have reacted better, whatever, you did what you did. You're looking to connect with the real you that comes from whatever experience you've been through. So I need to go big, and I'm looking for the ways in which I need to master my belief systems and clear up any final doubts, any final linkages, connections that I have to the negative society that doesn't even want me. There are clearly people, as the reality is splitting and the different tribes who are incompatible go their different ways. I'm for some people. I'm the right thing for some people. I know that I'm a real answer to people's prayers for the right people. I mean, oh my God, Carl's so magical. He's so amazing. He remembers his past lives, and he's been working on this issue of, understanding belief systems and negativity for so long. And he's been practicing his whole life, this stuff. And he has developed a lot of confidence and skill in presenting the ideas. And where I can be unconfident is still where I think I have a perfectionism of I should have done this, or I should have done that, or I should be able to have it memorized and have a certain structure. Some people are really good at going down the bullet points and having a very consistent course curriculum, whatever. I'm not, okay? I go with the flow. I'm learning to embrace the fact that I am who I am, and I wouldn't trade it for anything, because in my flow, I have these amazing peak experiences and very tender, vulnerable moments from my own growth. We're learning to work with my own higher self, my future self, my soul, my spirit guides. This is really real stuff. And like I was mentioning earlier, too, that part of the false beliefs, their whole mission is to invalidate the only thing that's valid in the universe, that only love is real, that the source that you come from and that you're learning to return to is totally beautiful, totally positive. That's your path. And the collective reality experiences, it's only meant to show you your next options, what's more you and what's less you. So you're trying things and you're having your emotional human responses. You're looking to be the best creator for yourself. You care about yourself. You want to have the most wonderful human life with increasingly positive, clear, specific beliefs about what you are meant to do, what you can do best, and letting others go. And you can start the source beautiful life now. It isn't someday when the earth is peaceful and happy. It's starting now, even though there are tribes and pockets of danger. But like I said, when you connect with your source, you feel so good. You have the confidence, the security of your own soul family. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be impressive. You don't have to be carrying the weight of everything. That's what I did for so many years. I felt very isolated, very alone, and I'm the one who has to be the most wise and optimistic and have the answers. And then when you don't have the answers that you need, you just crash. And that's a gateway to negativity, when you think you have to be all it is. You can have the nicest intentions, the parent who, like, I'm just doing everything for my kids, or, a lot of traditions of you should be so giving to the point of self-sacrifice. No, never self-sacrifice, because you are the creation. Everyone's the creation. If any part of the creation, if you're sacrificing for others, then you're hurting the whole creation, the whole system. So the story I want to share is this week. As much as I've developed this great course material, but I'm still going with the flow, and I never know exactly what's going to come next. And theoretically, I know that should be fine. I'm looking to flow in the security of my source connection of my soul, not always being able to predict and control things. Well, that's the negativity, but it can make you insecure. So I still have these moments of like, am I going to make it? Am I going to do it? I should have done something earlier, sooner. And there's a certain amount of brinksmanship. I think, my meditation, I was guided to talk about feeling scared on the edge of a cliff. And then it turns out the cliff edge is an illusion, but you're only ready to step out of the illusion when you're ready. You have to do the processing. So this week, one morning I woke up, Tuesday morning, and I was just in terror. I was in panic. And I was actually thinking like really positive thoughts of like, oh, my opportunities, like, oh, I could talk to this person, and I could make a video about this, and I wanted to do a funding appeal and different things, feeling very positive, very guided by my source. And yet a part of me is like utterly freaking out. And I realized, like, I've got to solve this. I can't have this split in my being where part of me is excited to live my full potential, and the other part of me is terrified and just wants to like hide. Clearly that's the part of me that is used to having grown up with the survival systems of the beliefs that said it's a scary world and mean people are in power, and, don't stand out too much, you'll get attacked, fears of visibility. On one hand, I get in my flow and I'm so excited, like, hey, I want to be out there, and like, hey, everybody, the source is wonderful. I'm here to like glorify all of us. This isn't for my ego. This is for humanity's positive ego. Like, we're wonderful. And you can see this in my other lifetime as Hildegard of Bingen. Some people may know of her, and I like to talk about how, she's the first, she's my closest other lifetime that has comforted me and been with me my whole life. She really woke me up many times. We talk, we work together. And, if you don't even know about her, don't worry about it. But the point is that she was known for being almost like bipolar or schizophrenic. Sometimes she was so confident, so connected with the divine, like just announcing like, this is, you are loved by God. And she was very much into progressive kind of, liberal, like self-care, enjoying the earth, like, no sacrifice, approach to life. But then other times she would be like shaking like a leaf. She would be so scared. I think she spent like a whole year in bed one time. She was just sort of hiding from the world, just terrified. And you got to understand that's how extreme it is. The spiritual you can be so connected to the source and so confident, so knowing, like, this is my destiny, my super destiny, I call it. Like the feelings of like, this is what will work and this is so great. And then you go into your human self, who is fully in contact with whatever old limiting negative beliefs you may have. And suddenly you're like like terrified and you're in panic. So I mentioned Hildegard. She had this phrase for herself. She felt that she was like a feather on the breath of God. Really lovely image of just feeling like, she's going where God guides her to. And, when she's in her little human self, when we're just being humbly just little human beings who don't know the answers, we can get really scared, but only scared because the fear is indicating false beliefs are around. Remember, the idea is that all emotions are positive. Any unpleasant emotion is actually indicating what you would like, but some way of thinking, some way of holding on to the past is blocking you. So fears don't mean something bad's going to happen. Fear means something good is going to happen, is meant to happen, is trying to happen, and you're holding on to an old way of doing things that is blocking you. So the part of me that was terrified at opportunities was holding on to an old survival way of life that was saying, like, shut up, you're going to get us killed. And I've actually had that thought come in my mind several times. Like when I get really excited, oh, my hearing just shifted. You know, when your ears do that sometimes? Like, yeah. Basically, my lifetime during World War II, I was a resistance in the underground in Munich, Germany. And I mean, it's a whole other story. I don't want to get into it so much, but it gets very emotional. But that lifetime and others, I can hear them come up in my head when I get really excited with my sense of, like, you know, what I'm meant to do, and I'm so connected with the source. And then this part of me will say, shut up, you're going to get us killed. Fears of visibility. And it's based on old false beliefs, holding on to old paradigms that, the idea is that dictators and so on would have any power. They are really weak, like pitiable people who are just, their only strength is they're acting out the false negative beliefs. They are on the run from their own fears. So there I was Tuesday morning, like just terrified, like so split. Part of me is like excited to like work on some projects and funding appeals and new visions and expand my reach, my audience. And another part of me was just like, the panic just kept rising, and it was like, I have to solve this terror. I have to solve this. And it was, you know, this week I've gone back and forth between, you know, other lifetimes, the lifetime in the resistance movement in Germany during World War II, but this time I was drawn more to my childhood of this lifetime. And it was curious. It's like, well, I didn't have like a traumatic childhood. My parents, they had their traumas. My father grew up in Nazi Germany. He was a boy, and he saw and heard about horrific things, and he was really traumatized. And he came over here to the United States as soon as he could, in his early 20s, I think. And right away he meets my mom. They're soulmates. They fall in love, but she's got her own abuse history. She's traumatized, and the two of them just like, you know, comfort and strengthen each other to give their children the best possible life. So, you know, I wasn't directly abused, and yet I'm acting like PTSD. What in this lifetime would account for this? So I had a bunch of memories come up. I had these vivid memories of I hadn't thought of in years, but definitely like, oh, they're there, all right. I remember them. Memories of times when I was a child that I had this innocent, pure excitement to try something, and it failed. It like something bad came out of it. And the lesson became like I can't do it right. I'm not good enough. I will make the worst choice. I will ruin things. I should just let other people decide for me. And there were several that came up, and then it went into teenage years too. But this feeling of like, I was trusting my passion. I was trusting what I like. And then it had a bad outcome. What happened? And the false beliefs say, like, you know, you blew it, you're wrong, you're bad, you're never good enough, you know. And that's the kind of thing, if you listen to that and then trust society and give your power away to others, you will be terrified when your own source comes to you and with opportunities. And this is the terrible split people can feel. They can be more scared of what is called the light shadow, the fantastic things you could do, your fantastic opportunities, they'll be more scared of than the negative stuff, which is awful, and they're running from their shadow work, they're running from their fears and their traumas, but at least they know how to survive them. The really wonderful stuff, it's unprecedented, never done before, they're terrified. The core one I remembered, and this gets very vulnerable and very tender. I was, I don't know, maybe 6, 7 years old. I had a hamster. And I loved that little hamster, a little sort of blonde, brown hamster. And I wanted to give it a bath. And I remember like filling up, running some water in the bathroom sink and putting the hamster in the water and just thinking like, I like hot baths. I'll run some hot water. And it killed the hamster. And I was in shock. I was just sort of like, why is the hamster limp? You know, like this nice bath. I didn't understand. I went to my mother and she's like, oh my God, it's dead. What happened? And so I gave it a bath. And she's like, oh no, it's like something happened. And, she was very quick to like, it's okay, you didn't mean it. You don't have bad intentions. You're not a bad person. But honestly, I still feel kind of like shocked and numb at the experience. I can't understand why. I'm like, such a beautiful, innocent, sweet intention. I just wanted to have a bath. I like baths. I'll have a bath with my hamster. And that was the key memory that was coming to me. It was a life lesson in which I learned the false belief, the false training, the false experience that I kill things. I can't do it. I'm wrong. I don't trust myself. Don't do something that excites me. Don't do something that would be fun. I've got to defer to everyone else. And then, like I said, there was a whole cascade of other memories, not as traumatic, as intense as that. That was like a core one. So I went back in a light meditation. And of course, I first of all, just approaching my child, like, you're okay. You're so wonderful. What a wonderful idea. You made a mistake. You had good intentions. It's okay. It's fine. The hamster loves you. The hamster's in heaven. It's okay. You're not bad. And I could just see my child holding the hamster in his hands, like, what happened? And, this wet, poor dead hamster. And so my first idea in this light meditation, you don't have to be an impressive meditation, just emotionally sincere, authentic. It's like I'm visualizing and talking to my inner child. So the first idea I thought was like, okay, like Jesus just resurrected. So I put my hands around my child's hands holding the hamster, and then open the hands and like, oh, it's alive again. It's like, oh yeah, it was just asleep. It's like, it loves you. It comes back. Of course it wants to be with you. And then something horrible happened. Like in the, when you visualize your meditation, it just takes off the imagery. It turned into this giant black rat that bit my child's throat on the side and killed him. It was like, what, it's like, again, it's like I can't do something right. I had a beautiful intention. So I had to think about it, and I thought, honestly, I just prayed, like I did my best as a child. I did my best as an adult. What's happening here? And what I got was like, you needed to go further back. That was your negative ego. That's the part of us that just grabs power, just thinks like, oh, you have the power of resurrection now. You're like Jesus. You're like, and it just became this black giant rat that kills my child, kills my sweetness, my purity, my innocence. Because we're not here to claim powers. We're here to be in a flow with the source where all miraculous powers come to us as we need them. And what we really needed, I realized, was that, the hamster never died. That never happened. And so what popped in my head was like, oh, right. The moment when my child self thought of giving the hamster the bath and picks him up, gained the power of talking to animals. The hamster talks to him and just says like, oh, sweet Carl, you want to give me a bath? You love baths. I would like a bath too. Let me tell you how to do it carefully so you won't hurt me and we'll have a lot of fun together. It's like, oh my God, that was the moment when, when I master belief systems, when I let go of the negative beliefs, when I let the positive path, what my soul always had for me to experience, I gained the power to talk to animals. It's like, oh my God, how that would change my whole life. Like, you can talk to nature. You never have to go with what, people are telling you to do or what we did wrong or what. Just talk with nature. Nature knows. It loves you. It wants to have fun with you. So I just saw me and my child having fun. It was like, I'm in awe in meditation. I'm in awe as an adult, like, oh my God, my child can talk to the animal. What is he saying? And it's like, and then I start to hear it too. And the hamster's like giggling and laughing. It's like, okay, just run a little gentle water over me as you hold me in your hands. That's nice. And like, and then the hamster, like we hold it and it snuggles up against my child's neck where the big black rat bit my child's neck. Now it's like the loving hamster like snuggling up against there, and it's like, oh, it's so sweet. So when I got that idea, that pattern, it's like, oh, right. It's like you need to go back and gain whatever spiritual gifts, have an initiation into the soul and how good the universe is in nature, whatever was needed that would have averted the path of hurt and false beliefs that then blame and control and all that stuff, the whole path of negativity that never had to happen, but only happens as an instructional course. So we're not regretting that I had multiple timelines. I have a timeline where, yes, me as Carl, I still have traumas, I still have injuries, I'm still working through it, but I'm gaining my courage. Because when I come back from that meditation, I'm like, and I went through some other memories that I had, similar ideas of like, what was the spiritual gift that I really needed so that I didn't have to try something so physically that could go wrong. And really feeling magical. I had a really wonderful day. And then the next day, it actually was a whole new round of visibility fears that going back again to the Germany lifetime, where I basically gave up a whole career at Munich University to just go underground. And I knew the White Rose students. Sorry. Some of you know history. There was a student resistance. You can't fake these emotions. There's a student resistance movement at Munich University during the rise of the Nazis. And some of the students would print up pamphlets, leaflets of some of the information they were getting about what the Nazis were really doing and building concentration camps and stuff. And they would leave these leaflets in the hallway, and they were caught. And 3 students in particular were executed. Sophie Scholl, her brother, and a friend. And I knew them. I was a young female professor, and I knew them, and I know that I met with them, and I provided some information to them. I had vivid dreams for many years of like hiding from the Nazis, finding my way to a library where I met with them. And the fact that I'm crying, I mean, it's to release it. But also like the tears, I mean, these are tears of grief, and there's still a grieving that I'm still working through layers of courage, because it is a whole timeline that doesn't need to happen. There are basically the Akashic records. The idea of the Akashic records is like all the possibilities of the universe. A lot of possibilities. You don't want to invest your life energy in them. You just visit them as reference material. It's like a big library of what could happen. So yes, in your library, for your higher self professor teaching you about life, you want them to have access to every possibility, every case study. It's just that you don't want to have to live a lot of stuff, and you only live it as much as to understand the case study. And then so I call that the record past, where yes, you have timelines that you can refer to, but you're not emotionally like in them anymore. And I'm still learning to release this stuff as I bring my teachings to more people. I really want to help a lot of people. I want the life I'm meant to have. I've spent my whole life, like many of you, just feeling in the shadow of a scary world, hoping to somehow make it if you hoard enough money or friends or resources. It's like the whole survivalism is false. Survival in what? In the face of what? Survival against this, a bad universe, like a regime, like no, it's a loving universe that will guide you around any dangers. And what you eventually want to get to is a sense of there's a record past of all the case studies, the things you've learned from, but you're no longer living that. Your life energy isn't in it. And the universe maintains it just as sort of case studies in a book, in a library. And what you're really learning to live is the very best peak moments of your life, all connecting perfectly with your higher self guiding you, with the source, with more and more spiritual friends incarnated with you, just the rising tide that lifts all boats. Love is the rising tide that lifts all boats. All lifetimes, all times of your lives, your life, everyone benefits, everyone gets the love, the guidance, the help, the spiritual gifts that result in the best possible outcomes. So I know it was nice of me to share this, and the tears are real. It's really intense. And yeah, I need help. I've got to work on a funding appeal. I've got to be willing to be out there. But the part of me that was terrified of asking for help, I've developed this style of I've done this for decades, developing my spiritual teaching confidence. Hundreds of people know me, maybe thousands, probably thousands, but not tens of thousands. And I have a YouTube channel with not that many subscribers. And there's so many people I'm meant to help. And my negativity, the false negative beliefs, would always flip-flop that extremism of saying oh, Carl, everybody's going to love you. And then I would run out and talk to people who didn't love me. And then it would flip-flop to the betrayal and the hurt. It's so no, nobody loves you. You're awful. You're wrong. You're bad, or everybody's bad, or no, there's a straight and narrow path of your own guidance from your own soul where you're meant to thrive. And that straight and narrow path is not a place, it's a way of living. So from wherever you are now, you are always good enough to tune into who you really are, the love you really are, the love of your future self, higher self, soul, your source guiding you. You can live your dreams no matter what the world looks like now. This is all just information. The world on the edge, the ascension times, there's the scary stuff. Let it go, because fear meant something wonderful was meant to happen. And there are false beliefs. There are lies that bad stuff was going to happen, or that the universe is bad. No, the universe is good. Let go of what didn't work, what never worked, and receive more gifts, miraculous solutions that will totally change your timeline. And you come back from a meditation, your emotions, you're able to do things you couldn't do before. I could not have shared this story a week ago. And next week, how much more amazing next week will be. I just have to keep trusting and following the guidance, my visions of how good the world is. And I want this for everyone. I do not have a sense of any enemies. It's humanity versus the false negative beliefs that made us all suffer and then act badly in different ways. And then pointing the fingers of blame. It's we're the victims. We blame the bullies. The bullies feel like victims and blame somebody who threatened them, and just no fingers of blame. It's all humanity. It's time to be free and let the people go who aren't ready to be as free as you are, but have courage, have conviction. You belong somewhere. I would not be getting the stuff I get if it weren't for somebody. Somebody's meant to receive this. I'm meant to give it to them, and they are meant to give me things that I need. We fit together perfectly, the puzzle pieces of life. So believe it, and that was my more personal story to share.